it's midweek, you know it's Understanding Politics here, obviously with Professor Herman Manyora, ready to know what's happening in the political arena and how the dynamics come into play. Professor, how are you doing?
Fine.
Just fine.
Fine.
Today, last week you spoke about the triumphant entry of Raila into Kakamega, got quite some views, and also wedding bells and flower girls conversation
yes.
August, is it August 9th elections, right?
Yes.
And every single time we have this conversation, people leave their comments, and that's why we always look at them and get to know what they have to say. So right now, let's take a look at the comment section, what you said about Professor Herman Manyora's analysis. For those that agree, for those that insult him, we're not going to read them this time, but you go ahead and continue commenting. Professor J. Githinji said, Wakenya, please listen to this. If you are doing the 90s politics all over again, scatter your votes among your clansmen at your own peril. When the one with a piece from every county takes the day, get together behind one strong candidate. He's speaking about the flower girls. And also you said that Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, if they want to do it on their own, they will not get anywhere. And he's saying that everyone should rally behind the one candidate that might be able to get the presidency. Is this the way people should be able to do that?
That's how it works everywhere. Yeah.
For even Kalonzo and
you know, even in countries where you have more than two strong parties, like in the UK, it's because those other 2-3 parties, like in Israel, that then help to tilt the scales by helping one major party form government. It's because they stand for things that are so dear to them, they cannot break their party. If it's a green matters of environment or whatever it is, they stand for certain things, certain ideals. They must just go all the way to the wire with that, even when they know they will not win. It's because of what they believe in.
And that's why you're speaking
But
about...
here now, here we're just looking for a president. There's nothing any one of these people believes in. So why do you want to waste your vote?
Oh.
What's the difference between Musalia and Raila or Musalia and Ruto?
When it comes to ideology?
But there's nothing. They don't have an ideology.
Geoffrey Osemo said, I hear you, Prof. I feel your compassion in your voice. But the people you are you are urging to see and hear are blind and deaf spiritually. They're too consumed by their egos that even if you throw stones on them, they are numb, they can't get it. He's saying that Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, they don't seem that they will change track.
You see, I have said this. Only a lunatic is out of touch with reality. If the moment you see, there's something that is called... mental unfaithfulness. You can see you will not become this, but yet you are not being faithful even to your own...
To your own self.
Yes. Nobody knows he cannot win the presidency. He knows it. Kalonzo knows he can't win.
Nothing.
So what is it they are doing if they are going to run? Wasting people's time, wasting their resources, making enemies for nothing.
And as you said, flower girls. Jim God says, Raila to you is Goliath, but in your myopic assumptions, you forget he has lost perennially. Only thing in your pocket is that Uhuru and the big tribe boys will toe your line. He's saying that just because of Uhuru, that's what will make Raila a president. He himself cannot.
You know,
because
it is him who is myopic. I don't like responding to people. But you see, Raila lost an election. That's 1997. Since then, which other election has he lost? We all know what happened in 2007. We all know the unfortunate circumstances. We all know what happened in 2013. 2017, even the Supreme Court annulled this election. In the Supreme Court case of 2013, we know the Mutunga court refused to engage evidence in going against the Constitution that looks at issues beyond procedure, because the Constitution has said, do not sacrifice substantive justice on the altar of procedure. This is what Mutunga did. And even then, if the Mutunga court had responded to the presentation by Kathy Kilonzo alone, there would have been a repeat election. Because the top-up votes, Kathy Kilonzo tore into them with evidence that was not refuted in court. And yet, in the judgment, it didn't feature. So where is this loss that Raila has suffered? I don't see it.
It shouldn't
exist.
be an argument.
Pardon?
It shouldn't be an argument.
It's a stupid way, because we all know that.
Okay, here is SPN Mugambi. Today's flower girl is the bride of tomorrow, but only if she's strategic, humble, and patient. Mudavadi would be a leading bride to be if he was patient, humble, and focused, because he could inherit Rao's consistency, but listening to his naive long-ons is making him blind to his chances. You said that he should get into the bandwagon, go with the handshake team so that he can be able to have a chance later in the future. Do you agree with this comment?
Yes, 2007, if Kalonzo was not, I don't know, something was eating him, he thought he could be president. He should have been realistic enough to know, support Raila. And the hegemony of the Mount Kenya would have been dismantled. That was what they needed to do, to dismantle the hegemony. You know, captured by these two, the Kikuyu on state power. Get this thing from Kibaki. Let Raila get. After that, none of them would have been president. By now, Kalonzo would have been in State House or would have done his bit already.
Are you urging them to do that now in the next elections?
Now you see there are many things that are not even in their favor. They are becoming old and the world is changing. There is going to be a generational change next year, whether anybody likes it or not. And most of the current crop of politicians will be caught up in that generational change.
That's what you're saying?
So I'm saying the best people like Kalonzo and Mudavadi can do is just to be part of power, to be part of government from 2022. And once you are inside, there are many things happen. You could find yourself the president. You know what I'm talking about?
Talked about accidents. That
not even accidents. Once if you are moving together with Uhuru and Raila, it could get to a point all of you agreed only Mudavadi stands a chance to beat Ruto. You know, but when you are outside, and the thing is, you lose next year, you never appear again in politics in this country. Generational change is on the door. 2022 marks a major departure. This country now from next year belongs to you people.
Here is Osodo Wilberforce. He says, Professor, as far as I am concerned, 2022 election should be cancelled and Raila declared head of state and save Kenyans the Chebukati inflated budget. I advise Raila not to pick a running mate from either the Kikuyu or the Kalenjin who have ruled Kenya for the past nearly 60 years. To disconnect the Kikuyu Kalenjin relay, Amuluya should be the running mate to Raila. In this case, I suggest Oparanya or any other person from another tribe. He has mentioned two things here. First of all, cancelling elections and saving us from the Chebukati budget. Should we do this? Can we even try to think of it?
If you cancel elections, you'll create chaos. But it's true about the Chebukati budget. You know, Africans have a problem. Typical of any poor person, wastage. An election is a simple thing that should cost us 3-4 billion. You hear 50 billion, 100 billion. You can understand. Our election is the most expensive in the world. Why? So the guy is right.
But how about the running mate thing?
The running mate is the elephant in the room.
He's saying not a Luya.
Because people are saying Kikuyu Kalenjin, Kikuyu Kalenjin. So if Ruto chooses a Kikuyu as running mate, which is most likely the case like Rigathi, then, oh, you want to perpetuate. A Kikuyu has just finished. Now you take over Kalenjin. Now you are telling us we prepare for a Kikuyu after you. But even for Raila, people say, we are happy you are removing these things from these guys. Again, you want to return it there so soon. So it is, for them, it is tricky.
Can you, if we have to deal with this tribalist thing and say we are taking it to other tribes, can you really do it without having now a member of the tribes that have been in leadership, a Kalenjin or Kikuyu, and then you are the president? It's difficult.
It's difficult to, even Moi never really, contrary to what people think, Moi never isolated the Kikuyus. You cannot isolate the Kikuyus in this country. How? They are the most powerful community. You cannot isolate the Luo because they are the most political community. These two, you can't ignore them. Moi tried, Kenyatta tried, but they were resilient. They have suffered, but they were there. If it was another community, they would have been wiped out. They will be so useless.
So it's so difficult for you to become the president from a different tribe and not involve the Kikuyu Kalenjin?
You can't. It's very difficult. You can try to suppress them, but you not make it. So that makes the choice of deputy president difficult for Raila and for Ruto. That's why this BBI thing was good. It was solving that problem. Because then the Kikuyu did not have been given the deputy. They would have been given prime minister, for example. You know? Then they are happy. But now there's only one remaining deputy. You must give it to them. Then people say, it's even very serious for Ruto. Picking Rigathi or anybody else as a Kikuyu. For Ruto is even worse.
Why?
When you pick Rigathi, then Mount Kenya East and Muturi is there. So, sawa. That's why Raila camp, they are toying with Peter Munya. You can see how they are playing the thing. So Raila has an easier option than Ruto. You get it?
Yeah.
If he picks from Mount Kenya East, like Muturi or somebody, these people in former central province, the Kikuyu, they're annoyed. Kina Rigathi hawatakuwa na sauti ya kuongea tena. If you pick from the other side, now Raila can pick from the other side because once you remove the Mount Kenya East votes from Ruto, he collapses.
Oh. And you'll have Uhuru support.
Yes.
So
it's easier for Raila, but still, it is the elephant in the room, running mate.
we'll have to have that discussion. We'll have to have this discussion. Let's switch gears and get into the talk. Today we're speaking about what was in the media house over last week, like Laikipia conflict, Prof, caused by politicians. People were saying that it's not coincidental that it's happening right 1 year to the elections. Let's talk about that. Let's see where we are heading as a country. If this conflict stayed for more than 2 months, where are we heading as a country? The past week has been dominated by news of bandit attack in Laikipia County and messaging from the security apparatus of the country. It has been a saddening kind of state, looking at people fleeing their homes just to find peace. Professor, 2 politicians were arrested, both of them released within a day. And right now people are asking, is it so difficult to permanently put on halt to all these interboundaries, inter-clan conflicts that happen in our country? Why is it so difficult to put a halt to them permanently?
They are sophisticated. There are factors that make these things very difficult. For example, even before you go to Laikipia, those Pokoti, other Turkana, those kind of, the terrain itself is difficult. Number 2, the cultural practices, historical traditions that have been with the people. There are communities where you can't marry until you do successful cattle raiding. You get what I'm saying? The issue of small arms. A Pokot child grows knowing how to operate an AK-47 before they are 5 years old. So this is not as easy as people think. And then the training of our security forces also, even from the recruitment. You know, we must be honest with these things. How do we recruit officers? How do we train them? We are still drilling people per 1, 2, 3 that's training. We are still looking for people with big bodies and what? Even police. People have moved away from that. We are still those things. So it's a complex issue. But the Laikipia issue is bad. It is shameful. It's a big shame on us that this many years after independence, foreigners still own tracts and tracts of land. I've talked about it and I've said it is so bad that, for example, in Laikipia, these people own about 1 million acres. 1 million acres. And the people in those areas must watch the animals die. And they can see green grass in the name of conservatism, owned by foreigners, by people, some of whom have never stepped in this country. They don't know even where Kenya is. They can't put their finger on the map and say, that's Kenya. I have 100,000 acres there. Take a granddaughter of somebody. It's a shame.
So the problem is with the wealthy coming into the country, or even the politicians in Kenya that have large tracts of land.
Of course, that's another problem. But me, I'm more worried about the foreigners. And you see the conservancies. There is no evidence that they bring any tourism. Because the tourism, they are figures. Where are the figures to indicate we get anything from them? Nothing. And yet, our people must watch their animals die. And there's green grass owned by Mzungu. Not 10,000 acres, please. Did I say 10,000?
You said 1 million plus. Can something be done to them? Can something be done that is legal to help these people find a way of living in these areas?
Look here. Whether by us or our children or our grandchildren, it will have to be done. It is the only thing to do. In any case, you have talked about even Kenyans. People who have land, they don't even need it. Look here. I don't have any myself. And it's not like I'm about to commit suicide because I don't have land. Look here, if I have 10,000 acres, do I even need it? There are people in this land who have thousands of acres. They don't even need it. And it's very stupid, let me tell you why. My son like this one here, the things that excite me may not excite you.
No.
Let's say I had 10,000 acres. Do you think my son Brian here would is very interested about 10? Does it excite him the way it would excite me?
Not really.
I saw my cousin. She struggled so much to get land in Kitale. She used to stay in Mombasa. When she passed on, and I think the husband also passed on, we told the children, this land your parents really fought. They laughed. They have never been there. 20 years. I think people have even taken the land.
Oh.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So somebody like Uhuru, for example, do you think Uhuru's children, one of them is there's Ngina, and then there is Moho, and is this Jamba, this really leader, there's one who is a really leader. Do you think they are interested in this land Uhuru has? I'm telling you they are not. One of them here is a man interested, I think, in design or
fashion,
things.
Yeah.
So this is how stupid we are. And if evidence is anything to go by, look at the billionaires who have died in this country. Just look at them. People begin to fight after the billions. Lawyers have a field day enjoying your life. So why were you stealing from the public to add on to what you have, which you can't even use? So when you look at land ownership in that perspective, you begin to see we are just stupid. So one day, there's a country, I can't remember. Is it Bangladesh or Pakistan? One of them. When the patriarch of the family passed on, the son, who was a president or something, I can't remember the details. He surrendered all family land. Told them, I don't need it.
After all the
What's for?
fighting for it.
What for? Do you think the grandson of Uhuru will need this land Uhuru has? The Kenyatas have? No, they may not need it.
Just donating it.
You know, because things are changing. I have a doctor friend of mine. I asked him, your father is a multi-billionaire. Why are you running a clinic? He says, don't speak like my father. Tumekosana baba yangu because he wants me to be in the family business. I don't want. I enjoy being a doctor. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The son to a multi-billionaire. But he just want to go to clinic. Watu wanakoa karibu na yeye tu anafurahia hiyo. That's the way we shall solve this problem. Because I don't think the children of these land grabbers, the children of these people who own trucks and trucks of land, will have anything to do with this land in the next 30, 40 years.
What would you say then about the Kenyans that are actively involved in this chaos, being funded by politicians? What would you say about them? Is it just because their living standard is so minority poor that they cannot do anything?
It is bad, it is immoral, it is unbelievable that you can cause loss of human life in pursuit of land, in pursuit of animal wealth, in pursuit of money, and yet some of them, like way we hear, already have billions of shit. It is foolish. The most stupid, actually, are those who instigate inter-clan fights so that they become popular, so that they are elected or re-elected.
And that's where I was heading, yeah?
So
would you say this can be related to the elections that are going to happen next year?
Of course. I've seen it in my place where I come from. We used to have inter-boundary clashes with the Kalenjin. And those people who used to be at the far front were people who wanted to be councillors and MPs. So that even Moi flagged them off in the famous Kapkangani meeting after the 1979 clashes between the Luya and the Nandi. It had been there 64, 66, I don't know when, then 79. And Moi came out openly. I said, look here. He named them. Since then it went down. So you instigate that, so you come as a hero. You say, what wanatumaliza sijui nini, then they elect you. That is foolish.
And people don't know it?
People should know. Even these things in Laikipia, the people must be enabled to get land for pasture. But the same people must not allow warmongers and demagogues and politicians to make them fight. But I supported them in getting land. But as we support them to get land, they must not also not listen to fools who make them fight.
Who come up and become their heroes so that they elect.
Then they elect them. No.
Moving forward, what should we do? What should we do about this country?
We need a land reform in this country. Period. There are people who have land, they don't need it. There are people who need land, they don't have it. And land can never be enough. It can never be enough. So we must have a policy that addresses the issue of land ownership in terms of maximum holding units. It is in the Constitution. Parliament has developed cold feet. Because the Constitution didn't do it. So let Parliament legislate on the minimum acreage somebody can have. And like other countries, if you have land you are not using, and I want to use it, we are not going to go hungry because you have land you have kept in your name. We shall tax you. So when you tax you because of that idle land, then you'll give it out for those who need it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we need good land policies. And these are the kind of things I want to hear Ruto and Raila talk about.
But can we deal with the
Not
politicians?
wheelbarrows.
Can we deal with the politicians funding them?
Yeah, we will. In the fullness of time.
Okay.
We will deal with them.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Let's take a look at Would You Rather, see what Professor would rather gamble with as we bring the show to you. It's time for Would You Rather, Professor Moses Wetangula or Governor Anyang' Nyong'o as your government's Inspector General. We've spoken about security. Inspector General.
I think Anyang' Nyong'o is a person of ideas. Wetangula is sharp.
Yes.
An A student. But he's not in the class of Anyang' Nyong'o. Anyang' Nyong'o is a little higher.
He's doing much.
Yeah.
Okay, here is lead your opposition, Moses Kuria or Hassan Joho.
In what? Leading?
Opposition. In this country.
In this country?
In this country.
Only Joho can.
Moses Kuria?
Well, he doesn't have the resources the way we do. You know, you need resources in these things. So some of the things I challenge Kina Wetangula and the rest of these people, Kina Mukisa Gitu, Kina Mudavadi, you want to be president, you must have resources.
Have resources first. Okay, William Getao Kabogo or Ferdinand Waititu return as governor in Kiambu.
Kafogo. Anytime.
You just said Kafogo.
Kafogo. Anytime.
Over Waititu.
Of course. But Bayao is a good man. As a comedian, not as a governor.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Understanding Politics here with Professor Herman Manyora. In case you're watching this for the first time and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. And if you've been watching us and you haven't, well, it's time. Until we have these conversations again, thank you so much. Prof, have yourselves a lovely rest of your day.